are enrolled will meet their reading acceleration goals.
Okay, thank you, Marisol. So the next one is 100% of parents will practice reading activities every week at home. I love that. How about the next one? Who wants to read the third one? Who is a brave parent from? Thank you.
I do it. This is pass.
I pass. Thank you.
100% of parents know their children reading level and the grade level expectation.
Good. Thank you. And the last one is collaboration and communication between educators and parents increase the 50%. So this is our goal. So we almost there. Thank you. Next one, Susan. So the next one. So leadership, Lead for Literacy has 6 steps. And now we are on section 4. So step 4, attend in-person section to practice reading activities and kick off family literacy activities at school. That's right.
Well, we're almost to step 4 now. We're on step 3 now. Our last section for step 3.
Oh my God! I was thinking this 4 already, so I'm wrong. I want to be at 4 already. So section 3, attend for Zoom and do your leadership and complete your literacy activities every week to get your child to read at or above grade level. So that is our goal. Next one. So now it's a quick time. If you can mute yourself or you can put it on the chat, that's great. So here we go with the first one. Time reading for fluency involves reading with speed, accuracy, and expression. Is that true or false? Who's the first one who put that in there?
Susan, this is Jordy. Lights went off you.
Oh.
I was kicked out.
So who had the answer for that? True or false?
I say you just pick on somebody. Nobody know. What do you think?
Oh yeah, because nobody wants to talk. How about Patrice? Monica. Monica. Olaila?
It's true. It's true.
Okay, thank you. Who said that? Thank you.
Patrice did.
Oh, Patrice. Thank you, Patrice.
Mm-hmm.
So the number 2, a second grader's fluency goal is to read 30 or 40 words per minute. Entire question. So is that true or false? 30 to 40 words per minute. ¿Cuánto tienen que leer los estudiantes de segundo grado? De 30 a 40 palabras, ¿es verdad? ¿Es true or false? You can put it on the chat or you can respond.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We have a couple people in the chat. Navarina Silvia y también Chriselle. I hope I'm saying that right. And then Cody also said false.
Okay. Thank you. Number 3. In our schools, we need parents team because you have to put the word there. Channel power. So what else? In our schools, we need parent teams because water, because money, or because structure, channel the power.
Sí.
Good. That's good. I love that. So number 4. Our history of now shares what we are being called to do right now as a parent and as a LCPS community. True or false?
Nine people said true. Y'all been listening. Y'all been tuned in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Susan, you
Awesome.
ready?
Yep.
Let me see how we're doing. Okay, thank you all for that quiz, all your participation. I really appreciate that. So now we're going to section 2. We're gonna do some homework celebrations. And we're gonna share out some from Lighthouse and Lost Star. So the first homework celebration is for Monica. Monica is using a passage in the literacy Lead for Literacy on the binder. She's reading with her daughter Daniela. Woohoo! Where is the woohoo?
Count us down now, Brina. We'll do woo-woo for each one.
Oh, at the end. Okay. Okay, next one we have.
Wait, we gotta do a woo-woo in union with each other. So I'll count us
Okay.
down each time.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
1, 2, 3. Come off mute.
Woo, woo.
Yeah,
Good job, Monica. Okay, and then we have Halia. Look at her. She's ready. Halia is reading one of her favorite books and her costume on Halloween. Thank you, Shabri.
Halia. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Woo-woo for Halia. Woo-woo.
Woo.
Next one we have. So this is our third one is from a Lost Star. Here we go. The Jasmine practicing nonsense words.
And then son, then let, let, said, do, min, red, yan, yet, ten, did, went, yet, tap, nap, had,
We gotta do a woo-woo for Jasmine. That was so
Good
good.
job, Jasmine.
Okay.
I don't know if it's someone from the either Angela, Monica, or Shabri can express how they feel or how do you do this and engage your kids to do this. I would like to see Angela, Monica, or Shabri. Maybe.
Hola, yo soy Ángela. A mí programa, estas reuniones que hemos tenido me ha ayudado mucho y más que todo a la niña. La niña ha dado un avance demasiado. No sé, ahorita ella está muy bien en la escuela, que estoy muy feliz, muy contenta y así deben de decirles a los demás papás y ojalá que para la próxima hayan muchos más.
Thank you, Angela. Good job. Great job. So can we go to the next one? So section 4, the purpose and outcomes. Who wants to read the number 1? Marisol from Lighthouse? Can you read number 1?
I can read it.
Thank you.
You want me to read it?
Sure, pass. Go ahead.
Okay. Celebrate our progress in home reading and literacy activities.
Good job. Thank you. Number 2, learn how to build our content units teams at home. Who wants to read number 3?
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Combine our story of self, us, and now into a powerful call to action with other parents.
Thank you, Leila. Who
Welcome.
wants to do number 4?
Is it okay if I do number 4 now, Marina?
Sure, go ahead, Daniel.
Awesome, awesome. So number 4 is get ready to put on your school parent literacy team in action. Into
Good,
action.
thank you. So in order to be effectively work together to increase literacy rates for your child and all our students. So this is our section 4. So this is our agenda. So we're gonna do the welcome purpose. We already do parents, must know. So we have 20 minutes, I think, right there. Breakout groups and our call to actions. Breakout groups, we have 2 breakout rooms, and next steps is the homework and adjourn. So next we go to say hi to Corey, to Mr. Marshall and Shayna.
Good evening,
All yours.
everyone.
Good evening. It's so great to be here, everyone.
I can't believe it's already session 4. All these sessions have flown by. I'm happy you are all here.
And to be able to make a concerted effort on something for multiple sessions, we're priming ourselves for so much important work. Here we go.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about homeschool collaboration. We talked about it. We've been talking about it in all the sessions, but we're really going to focus on it for this session. So we know that homeschool collaboration is essential to getting students to grade level. We also know that you're not alone. Find a partner like the family coordinator to be your buddy. Cody, can you read us the next couple?
Don't forget to meet with your child's teacher to make a plan. Conferences are coming up, and you don't need to wait for the conferences, even if you don't want to. Your teachers are eager to meet with you at any time. Conferences are just a very convenient time. So be asking your teacher, what is your student's action plan? What will or is your teacher doing? Of course, in these sessions, we've been talking about what or how can we practice at home and what type of growth should we see? And pro tip, check your child's reading data every month. It doesn't just have to be at the end of the semester, and it especially shouldn't be at the end of the year. Your child's teacher has a sense for what your student's progress is doing based on assessments that they do about every 6 weeks or even more frequently than that. So you can support your sense of homeschool connection in those ways.
Amazing. Thank you. Next slide. All right. So like Cody said, conferences are coming up. We have conferences on Friday, December 15th. And for some teachers, they're starting them earlier than that because we know that many people are probably going on vacation on December 15th. So reach out to your child's teacher if you haven't already. Teachers are getting people signed up right now. I know Miss Albrecht already has almost all her kids signed up for conferences. So get signed up, and then we'll send out some reminders as we get closer and closer to those conferences. And there's no school that day, Friday, December 15th. All right, next slide. All right, so I'm excited to share a new conference sheet that we have, and we actually made this conference sheet in response to what you guys all said here in Lit for Literacy. And so you'll notice two big things next to these yellow arrows. Can I have someone tell me what one of the things the yellow arrow is pointing to is? What's one of those things that we're going to be sharing?
English language arts.
Yep. And right above that, Leela, in the black box, what does it say?
Classroom grades.
Yep. So we know the report cards are hard to read. Teachers are going to just lay it out simply for you guys, so you don't have to wait for the report cards. At conferences, you're going to hear what their classroom grades are. You're also going to hear one other important thing that you all here were asking for. And what is that? Yes, Naima in the chat, assessment scores. There's going to be new assessment data for every student, new Ames Web scores. For the older students, they take another test called the CASP test. You are going to be told those scores. And they're even going to show them to you on this little curve and explain to you what that means in terms of where they are for grade levels. So every student will be receiving this cover sheet, which is going to guide the student-led conference. And then one more announcement, there is conferences for cycle 5, but they are optional. So this is the last required conference for the year, and then be on the lookout for an optional conference towards the end of the year. All right. So speaking of conferences, Cody, you're up next.
All right. Thank you so much, Shayna. And we'll stay on this slide really quickly. I just want to say how excited I am to be able to equip teachers and parents with a tool that is a little bit easier to understand. I think when parents receive these progress reports and they have 1s and 2s on them and coded standards and some certain things, it kind of removes us from the experience, and we've heard some feedback that doesn't always feel so supportive. So I just want to say how excited I am for this really visually clear tool that's going to enable us to ask really specific questions. There's so much power in specificity, and that segues us into our next slide, because something that I have seen a lot as an educator and learned a lot about is the power of conferences and the power of questioning in a conference. And I know that families deal with so much, we have to take care of our child, and we have to balance our work and home responsibilities. And again, I'm so excited for this work we do in our Lit for Literacy sessions, because it's all about breaking this down and showing that anybody can do this stuff, right? So in conferences, parent-teacher conferences or student-led conferences, what I've seen a lot, and we'll say a not so good conference, because all conferences are good, but some could be even better than others, is really generalized questions, Okay, how's my kid doing? What about behavior? Often parents are very focused on behavior and just a general sense of how their kid's doing. Are they following instructions? Are they completing work? Sometimes they may ask questions that harken back to the days when we were in school, right? Something that may have been more common when we were in school is spelling tests or handwriting. So a question I've seen come up in conferences is, does my student know how to spell? Or they may say, I've noticed that my student at home is misspelling certain words, or maybe the penmanship is poor. Is my student going to learn cursive? But now that we're in this science of reading kind of era, and I'm so proud that we have been able to break down the science of reading, and that so many people in these sessions, in those quizzes, remember those details about the science of reading and those different strands, right? Some students are working on comprehension, some students are working on basic alphabet knowledge, some students are working on vowel patterns and other things like that. So just asking a non-science of reading question like how's my student's penmanship or spelling doesn't quite get there, right? Another really common question that I think parents rightfully ground themselves in is my student going to make it to the next grade? we've learned so much about reading data, right? And that a student's reading progress, we would like them to be in a certain place based on their grade level, but we know that the reality is that that's not true right now. We want to strive there, but that's not true right now. And it's not obviously common for us to be holding students back on their reading level alone. So don't preoccupy yourself with those things. We have a vision for accelerated achievement for students every day. So a third grader can still go to fourth grade while we enact our plan for that accelerated achievement for them over multiple years. Let's go to the next slide and talk about some questions that we would see in an even better conference. So here are some specific science of reading questions that will give you really good information so that you can know what to follow up on with your child's teacher, know what to practice with at home with your child. Sorry, have you ever tried to have a Zoom meeting with dogs in your house? If anyone resonates with me, react in the chat, okay? Here are the specific science of reading questions. You can ask, what skill or group is my student working on? And if you go to the previous slide 18 of that beautiful progress report, at the bottom there, can someone go backwards 2 times? Right there. At the bottom there, it's been integrated within the progress report. So you can ask questions literally about those groups. And when your teacher tells you your student is in this group, you can visually see whether the student is behind where we want them to be or not. Okay, now you can go 2 slides forward. You can also say, okay, if my student is working on R controlled vowels, or if my student is working on beginning alphabet knowledge, what does that work look like? Can you show me an example? And in about 5 seconds, the teacher will be able to show you an example. and you'll see whatever that page is, whatever that sheet is, and it'll click for you really quickly. Okay, my student is working on the CH spelling pattern. I know that. Cheese, Chucky, Charlie, all of that stuff, right? You can also ask your child's teacher, what activities do you recommend I or they do at home that are connected to these goals? That could be something really simple and really effective, like helping them with homework that is aligned to those same exact spelling patterns that we see, right? Or a science of reading goal that they're in. That can also be something like Lexia. I know that a lot of our families are already familiar with Lexia because students are so excited to use it at home. So your teacher may just devise a Lexia plan with you so that you can support your student on there. And then most importantly, you should ask your child's teacher, when can I get another update from you? Again, because your child's teacher is eager to update you and they have no problem updating you 10 times a year. But please don't wait until the end of the year, because now we know, we visualize that whole series of, go back 2 slides, please. The whole series of science of reading objectives that they must go through. So if I wait until the end of the year to check back up on my child's teacher, potentially a whole lot of opportunities have gone by to catch something. Students are not just doing one thing in a year. They're maybe encompassing several skills over a year. So you want to be able to check in with your child's teacher frequently. The sweet spot is about every 6 weeks, but who cares? Do it even more. Okay, now we can go to the current slide.
Hey, Cody, is it okay if I say something real quick?
Of course.
Awesome. Hey, parents, but there are also some really awesome questions being asked in the chat. If we could take a look at some of those questions and answer them, I think it'd be awesome so that we can go ahead and just further engage this conversation and the presentation that Cody has given us. Thank you, Cody.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Susan, for resonating with the dogs. It is impossible to do Zoom with dogs in your house. Maya has a cat. Let's see. Shayna saw someone had a parent asking great questions today. Love it. Yes, there's a question about Lexia in there. I hope that everyone does know how to log in to their students' Lexia.
I see Naima doesn't know
Yep.
how. Naima, it's really easy. Virginia just needs to get into her computer, which she does so with a little badge, like a QR code. Once she's in it, she doesn't have to log into Lexia. She just presses the button that says Lexia and it automatically logs her in. So in her school computer, it's really easy. She just needs the QR code.
Awesome. Norma had a question as well. Norma, ¿tiene una pregunta?
Sí, quiero agradecer al señor director porque hice una petición en la reunión de martes de café de los padres. Siempre se mantenía la computadora para que los estudiantes repasen Lexia en la casa. Y en estos 3 meses no se había dado, pero ya hoy que lo permitió, mi hijo se está aplicando aquí en casa también a estudiar Lexia. Muchas gracias.
Hey Shayna, is there any Naima had another question. She said we haven't been letting her bring the Chromebook home this year. Is there a way to log in? Oh, Cody said yes, from our own device.
Yes, you're going to want to log into clever.com, and on clever.com she can use her school email to get in, and then she'll be able to access all those apps through a single login. So clever.com, and then her school email, which is always first name, that last name, and then the year they're going to graduate. I'll send you Virginia's exact email. Let me look it up and I'll just send it to you. Right. So Cody put a lot of questions in the chat, or put a lot of questions up on the screen that are good questions that you can ask in conferences. But I know each of you also have really good questions. And I see Chriselle has one in the chat. Chriselle, would you mind explaining the question you put in the chat and how you might bring that up in a conference?
Yes, hi, Miss Hurley.
Hello.
So, like what we were talking about earlier, I feel like a syllabus would definitely be beneficial for us as parents. So just so we can know the specific target dates and the specific topics, that our kids are learning. And I think that would help us to better teach them at home for sure. Because we know what the goal is per week, quarter, etc.
Absolutely. This morning we're talking specifically about math, how,
Yes,
second
especially
grade.
math too.
Yep, even in math,
Yes.
here, in second grade, that math starts looking really funky if you didn't learn it that way. And so having some sort of, letter home to families or some sort of examples of what kids are going to be learning would be really helpful.
Yes.
And how do I say your name? Is it Naima? Naima?
Naima.
Naima. So sorry for mispronouncing your name. Thank you so much. I want to let you know that I screenshotted your question in the chat because it was such a good idea. That's gonna help our teachers and families so much be on the same page. So that's something that I'm excited to update you about at a later time.
Does anyone else have any other questions that they're planning on asking during a conference or now have thought about that they want to ask at their child's conference coming up?
Okay, so I have a situation where I already signed up for a conference for Tishanti, but I started a new job that I was unexpectedly going to get, that I got today. So it was within that time that I had picked. Is it a way that I can change it, or do I need to talk with her teacher about it first?
Mm-hmm. Definitely talk to the teacher. We can absolutely switch the time. Easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just tell her a better time that works for you.
All right.
I know Rachel's doing conferences as late as 6 o'clock, so we'll make it work.
Okay.
Ms. Albrecht, do you have any other questions that you'd recommend parents asking?
I was gonna speak up and say, I think it's really important that you ask questions. I think sometimes it's very easy. Oh, there goes my dog. I think sometimes it's really easy to say or feel like I'm just throwing a bunch of information at you. And I know personally I speak really fast. So either coming with questions already prepared or just, thinking of those questions in the meantime, because we do want to hear your questions and we do want to have that dialogue. So please don't be intimidated or feel like, oh, she doesn't have time. They don't have time to answer my questions. We really, really do want those questions to be asked and we'll help you answer them.
Absolutely. I think another great question that I've heard some of you talk about here is just how can I help in the classroom, right? I know many of you are anxious to volunteer and things like that. And so, asking what help the teacher needs in the classroom or what you can do at home are more great questions. Anyone else? All right, well, we'll have time in breakout rooms to talk about questions later, so be thinking about them. All right, next up. Okay. So speaking of homeschool connection, we, and a little bit getting to what Chriselle was saying about knowing what kids are learning in school. This is our ELA topics from kindergarten to 5th grade. So each grade has 4 modules. And right now everybody is on module 2. So go ahead and look at this list, and I want everyone to find the grade that your child or children are in. What is it? What's the topic that your child is learning right now? Let's see it in the chat out loud. What are kids learning right now? We're in module 2 right now. Who's going to be the first to see? Animal Defenses is 4th grade. Yes, Mr. Marshall. Sun, Moon, and Stars in 1st grade. Yep.
Their wonders.
Yep. Weather Wonders. They are out there being meteorologists every day. They're out there sharing about the weather. Fossils in 2nd grade. Absolutely. The Sun, Moon, and Stars. Yep. In 1st grade. We have the rainforest in 5th grade. Exactly. Danilo, thank you. 3rd grade is doing frogs. So those are the topics that are happening right now. Has anyone heard anything about those topics? Do people already know that? Let's see it in the chat. Raise your hand if you already knew what your kid was learning. They came home and told you. Anyone?
He was dancing in the rain.
Amazing.
I guess it was sprinkling. He said that.
They were just reading a book called Come On Rain, where this little girl's waiting for it to rain. So he was probably excited. He was dancing in the rain today. Love it. All right. So on the next slide, we're going to talk about ways that you can build on that topic, right? Now that you know what your kids are learning at home, you can ask questions about that topic. They may or may not know them, right? Because they're learning some things about the topic, maybe not everything. Maybe they haven't gotten to it yet. But there are different levels of questions that you can ask. And so at the really basic level, you can ask them just facts, right? You can say, when does the moon come out? Or when water is falling from the sky, what do we call that, right? Those are pretty basic questions that you can ask to see if they know what's going on. Or you can go even deeper and you can really see if kids are understanding things, right? Can they describe to you what the fossilization process, right? And then we go higher and higher all the way to creating, right? Maybe they're writing something about the topic. So there are all these different levels of questions. I know here in the green, the analyzing, our 5th graders are doing so much of this. They're really reading multiple texts and talking about what's the same and what's different about them. And so any questions are good questions, but we want to get students to those higher level questions, kind of like when we talked about with the book walk and the book talk, not just yes or no, but really questions that are going to make them talk and talk, or even maybe questions that lead to them having to look things up online because neither of you know the answer, right? That's great. You can do research together. Really quickly, Danilo, can we, or whoever's controlling the slides, can we go back one slide? Just a parent wanted to get a screenshot of it. I moved on too fast. There we are.
Susan?
Anyone who wants a picture of this, here it is.
And also, Susan, I think Jordy might have got kicked out again.
Yep.
Right, Jordy?
Yep. It's just, there's a storm over here.
Oh, sorry, Jordy. Velia, can you reassign Jordy, please?
Great. All right. Ready to move on. Thank you. Back to the next slide and one more. All right, so here's some examples of some different questions that we can ask. So look at those questions. You know, you can talk about, discuss the pros and cons of something. How do you explain this? What are the effects of this? These are all questions that are going to get kids talking for a long time. And these are some questions that don't necessarily just have one right answer, right? It's maybe asking kids their opinions and things like that. So it's having them go even deeper. All right. And to help us with that, if you move on to the next slide, I'm going to, in a second, pass it on to Leela to talk a little bit about the library, because going to the library and finding more books on the same topic is going to help your kid become even more of an expert, right? So you can go to the library, pick up more books on those topics or any other topic to become even more of an expert. But I'll pass it to Leela to explain how she uses the library with her kiddos.
Well, we are a part of the book club, and with the benefit of that, you have an opportunity to get free pass to the zoo for a family of 6, to the it's called Made Museum. It's a new museum downtown, the Museum of Arts and Digital Entertainment. That's like with videos and computers, and tickets to the AIDS game. A part of book club, you get tutoring. The person that works behind the desk, he does math tutoring in English. If you need help with that, then you have access to the computers where you can do research, look up stuff for as far as jobs. They have a job board there if you're looking for employment or schooling for the parents also, and as well as the kids. And they have a garden center where you could plant gardens, and you can also, they have a section where you can get plants if you want to start your own garden, because they were suggesting that because of the COVID, people doing that themselves. So you can get all type of plants and garden seeds to start your own garden at home.
That's amazing. And think about all the great conversations and the questions you can ask your child about that plant as it's growing, right? You guys can study the plants, learn more about the plant. That's great, Leela.
Yeah, that's what they have a lot of different outlets there, and the librarians are so there for you as well as your kids. And they'll take them off and like read books with them. They have the audio books too. So it's not just the regular books. You can get audio books, videos and games, and also like toys and activities to keep them busy at home that you can also get out where you can like practice with your kids with the counting, learning how to count and then to read.
Great. Thank you so much. The library is a great resource for more than just books. So an awesome place to start. All right, we're ready for the next slide. And please choose interpretation again if you haven't. All right, Cody, would you mind reading just our content themes, our topics that we were trying to get across to people?
Sure. Every moment with our children is a learning opportunity. Friendship, noticing the world around us, everyone can make a difference. There are resources at our fingertips, like the local library, museums, and nature walks. You can challenge students to answer questions that are rigorous, not just retell, not just remember, analyze, create, evaluate. We will support children in making connections.
All right, awesome. So we are just about to go into breakout rooms. I think today only have 2 breakout groups. So I'll let Susan introduce the breakout rooms for today.
Hey, Susan, but before we get going on these breakout rooms, can we go ahead and get a feel woo for Shayna and Cody for presenting such dope information? Is that okay, Susan?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, of course. I feel like y'all walked us through some tough information. Maybe I was frozen for a second. My internet's a little, I don't know what's going on.
Absolutely.
But count us down, Danilo. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm be honest with you guys, this is actually my first time doing a feel woo with a big group. So I feel good right now, y'all. I know, Susan. Susan,
Won't let you down.
I love it. All right, folks. On the count of 3, let's get a big feel woo for these 2 lovely presenters. 1, 2, 3. Woo, woo. Come on, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Woo, woo! Cody and Shayna.
I love it. Awesome.
Okay,
And listen,
so we're gonna
folks,
jump
all the
into...
Go ahead, Susan. Sorry.
Oh no, you go. Sorry.
All good. And also, wanted to highlight something, guys. Remember this, this collaboration is only effective if we're all working together. And there's a lot of resources in your binders, guys. Some of all of the slides that we present here are all in your binder. So some of those sentence frame and sentence starters that were up a couple slides before this that are going to be helpful for your conferences, they're in your binder. Please bring that binder to your conferences and use it and just to so it can allow you to further internalize and obviously further help get your kid over the grade level. So awesome. And I believe that everybody has a breakout room assigned to them. So if you want to go ahead and click join, then we'll see you guys back here in a bit.
Welcome back, folks. Let me pull up our presentation again and share screen so we can do some share outs. I know my group had some really awesome conversation. Please choose interpretation again. Por favor, escogen interpretación de nuevo. And we're going to get started. Let's see. Okay. So maybe we can hear from our English group first. Shayna, Tanisha, and Danilo, which parent from your group is going to share?
We didn't get to that last part, but let me see if I can get maybe Monica. You're able to come off from mute and share what we talked about a little bit.
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, we just talked about how. I'm sorry. I'm got to drive again. Let me get off of the sharing video. We just talked about, at least I gave a suggestion about putting maybe books to circulate books that we have at our house, circulate books that there's already books in classroom shelves and stuff like that for kids to take home, and then they can bring it back or they can trade it with a different book so that other kids get a chance to read different books. Maybe that'll encourage them also. I don't know. I was driving.
That's okay, Monica. I took some notes. I got you. I know you're driving.
Sorry.
So that don't be a lot of information. So she talking about the book, having a bookshelf, at the school. You know how you walk down the street and they have the little like mailbox where you take
Yeah.
book, take a book for our schools to have that. Because I know I have endless books. She also talked about a reading picnic where parents, get together, and have where we read. And I also share like, even though it's wintertime, it's raining, it's cold, you can still lay a blanket out, throw some food, and have books. That's fun. Also, Shannon shared like the importance of asking, because we asked about the content and we asked her as a principal and an educator, like, what would she share? And she asked, it's important to ask the teachers what they're teaching, in the classroom, so we can mimic that. Also, Danelli, we also shared, it's important as parents to communicate our children's need. And maybe our babies go through different milestones. So there maybe some social emotional things, because I know I go through that every other year with children. I never know what's going to happen. But as parents, it's important. And the fact that our children, go through life like us, loss of life is important. So to share those things, just to be really in partner with the teacher, because that does, affect our children. And then also, I mentioned, a lot of times as a parent, I sometimes will go in a class and just observe my students, because I know my children. And sometimes children will say, oh, I understand. And you as a parent will know, oh, they don't understand. So to communicate that with the teacher as well. So just really partnering, and Leela explained also, because sometimes she's like, we start to make our children ask the questions to the teachers, because sometimes they're shy and they don't want to, but we have to teach them when they're young. It's okay to ask questions and stuff.
Thank you so much, Tanisha. I love just how detailed your share out is. I feel like there are so many awesome ideas that you just shared. Grace us with that knowledge. Thank you so much. And we can go to the group I was in. Let's see, maybe Erlinda or Paz, if one of you wanted to share. All of you had such great things to say. But let's see. Yeah, Erlinda.
Bueno, yo en mi caso, pues como yo soy nueva, ¿verdad? Es mi primera hija, mi primera niña que va a la escuela. Estamos aprendiendo, yo sé que mi hija toca ciertos temas porque ella va a kinder, ¿verdad? Entonces ella siempre viene con lo que es ya sea una paginita que no ha terminado, o ya sea una tarea para el siguiente día. Como por ejemplo, yo sé que mi niña la semana pasada estuvo tocando lo que serían los seasons, ¿verdad? Y esta semana ella está enfocada en la letra C, porque ya me vino 2 días seguidos con eso. Por eso yo no he tenido la oportunidad de preguntar, porque mi forma de pensar es, si ella me viene con estas páginas es porque esto está ella aprendiendo. Y además la profesora nos dio un librito del abecedario, y nosotros estamos como que yo con ella aparte, ¿verdad? Aquí en la casa tenemos, nos hemos puesto la meta de por lo menos una letra por día. Yo sé que no se le va a quedar, pero por lo menos yo le estoy ayudando, que cuando ella en un futuro lo vea, diga, esto ya lo estuvimos aprendiendo con mamá. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Erlinda.
Gracias, Linda.
Awesome.
Thank you, Linda. Buen
Really
trabajo,
awesome.
Linda.
Yes. Amazing. Well, if any other ideas come up that you guys want to share with each other, right? This is our last Zoom session together. Not our last time seeing each other, right? The work continues. Use that chat box, come off mute. That is why we are here. So thank you so much for those very thoughtful share outs. And I'm so excited because me and Dr. Dickey are going to be walking us through the organizing training today. building our PLTs, which stands for Parent Leader Team, right, that we've been talking about. Building our PLTs with a call to action. Dr. Dickey, are you here with me?
I'm here.
Yay! Awesome. Good to see you. Well, as you guys know, my name is Susan. I am a family organizer with Families in Action, and I'm super excited to be here and always excited,
Yes.
especially to do this training part, because I think all parents kind of come with a different level of capacity to really be leaders in schools, and it doesn't always look the same for parents. My mom was one that she was always working overnight. And I really relied on my teachers and my older siblings and my friends to learn how to read and be a really good reader, and to learn later in life to really love reading and now writing even. So it's super important for me to be here with you guys. That's also why I'm so passionate about working with parents and building parent leadership. I love seeing when a parent goes from feeling like, hey, I don't really have a voice or my opinion doesn't matter, to making sure their voice is heard and sharing their story because they know it does make a difference. So Dr. Dickey, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit, why you're excited to be here tonight too?
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Dr. Dickey, the Family Engagement Coordinator at Lighthouse, and I'm really excited to be here. I've always been passionate about education and reading, and so I'm just going to say a little bit about the story of myself. So for me, I am a caring and empathetic individual who decided in the 7th grade that I wanted to become a teacher. I started reading when I was 4 years old. However, I had siblings who struggled with reading. So at the age of 13, I began supporting my siblings with reading. Back in the late 70s, there weren't a lot of resources like we have today. And so therefore my siblings were placed in SPED programs because they were not, properly evaluated. And so years later, I became a teacher and a literacy coach. I taught I taught kindergarten and 2nd grade back then. And I made it my mission to work with my parents and to support them because I understood the importance of students reading by the 3rd grade. I have always been passionate about education and the importance of literacy. So this is why I decided to support the Lit for Literacy program.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Dickey.
You're welcome.
Okay. So we are going to get started. Who remembers this graphic from last time? I feel like we've been looking at this graphic a couple of times.
I do, for sure.
Look familiar to folks? Yes. Thank you, Danilo. Shayna says, yes. I see some other head nods. Good. Because this is what I want us to be kind of envisioning when we're thinking about, oh my gosh, there's so many things that can be done to make sure all of our kids get to be reading at grade level, right? For our schools to be, and for all of our students to be performing in a way that we know that they can, right? But we can really think about us building power and building our capacity to really make change and be change agents by really thinking about what it means to be a part of a team, a parent leader team. That's what that PLT stands for. And so when we're thinking about how do we generate power for the change that we want to see, and we've been talking a lot about like the different changes that we want to see, right? What's one thing that we're hoping, comes from our efforts here in this space? Someone shout it out. Come off mute. Who can tell me? What's the change you want to see? What are we fighting for here?
More kids reading on grade level.
Yes. Thank you, Shayna. Exactly, right? We're all here because we do believe and we really want to see all kids reading on grade level, right? And so when we're thinking about building teams in each of our schools, that's so key when we are trying to figure out how can we build power to make that happen. And really by power, we're going to talk a lot about power, especially on the next slide, but that's just us getting from where we're at to where we want to go, and having a plan and kind of a structure to get there, right? That's how we can think about power in this context, right? We have the power to make that change, right? That's why we're here. That's why we joined. And that's why, right, we're going to be bringing a lot of this back to our schools. And I want to pass it back to Dr. Dickey so she can take us a little bit through one of the amazing definitions of power.
Okay, I'm back again, you guys. So power. So for me, when it comes to power, I think, many of us sometimes we think about money or status. However, power is more than that. It's about building intentional and meaningful relationships. It's about team building, collaborating, and organizing to create change. It takes all of us because we can't do it alone. We need to make sure that we are working together to build a strong community to achieve our purpose. I think our purpose is to ensure that our parents use their voices and power to create change. Also, to increase our literacy rates amongst our children. I think it's important that in terms of igniting parents to have that agency to put on their power coats and use their voices to ensure their children are excelling in school. Power is not constant, but it's rather something that we must continuously strive for.
Thank you, Dr. Dickey. Awesome. Perfect. Now we're going to look at, well, how can we use a kind of compelling formula, right? If we're thinking about, all right, I learned all of these amazing things in these 4 sessions on Zoom, and I'm ready to get to work. I'm ready to go back to my school. I want to help build this team, right? And I want to be in relation with other parents. I want to be in relationship with my child's teacher, right? I want to be like in the know, involved, really put on my power coat and be a parent leader and do some of this literacy stuff. How do we even have a conversation about that with other people, right? And so I want to walk you through what we call a call to action, our literacy call to action. And it's this awesome formula that we've honestly been working on each session. And now it's all kind of coming together in this neat little package. So when we take our story of self, right? Why we feel motivated to be a part of literacy efforts at the school, right? Why do we feel like, it's our duty as a parent, to be involved in that way? And when we take our story of us, which is, well, what is it about the school that we feel like is worth fighting for, right? What are our shared values, right? And the story of now, why is it urgent now that I get involved? Why is it urgent now that you get involved, right? What is the urgency of what we're trying to get at? And then we end it with a very clear, crisp, concise invitation and ask. That's literally the formula for a call to action. So with this formula, you could literally use a couple sentences about who you are as a person, your story of self, who you are as a parent leader, a couple sentences of, well, why is the school worth fighting for in your eyes, right? And your story of now, what's the urgency? Why now? Maybe throw in some data, right? A lot of the kids are not reading on grade levels, so that's why now I want to get involved. And an invitation or ask. Come out to Coffee Tuesday. Come, go have a conference with your teacher, but try it a different way. Let me show you how I learned it. That is how we can create a really pack a powerful punch in an invitation to other parents and other people at our school sites to get involved in this effort with us. Okay? And I want to pass it to awesome parent leader Monica because she's going to model for us her call to action. All right, Monica, are you here? I know you said you were driving earlier.
Sorry, I was on mute. I said I'm done driving. I was talking.
The floor is
here.
yours, my dear. Uh-oh, it muted you again. Hold on, let's see. There we go. Perfect.
Good evening. My name is Monica Valencia. I am native of San Francisco and have lived in East Oakland most of my life. I have a kindergartner, a fourth grader, and an eighth grader who all attend Lighthouse. My motivation to be involved in my children's education comes from what my mom modeled for me. Though she only got to third grade in elementary in Mexico, she always encouraged, she came back to the United States and got her GED while my siblings and I were in school. She always encouraged me to be curious and ask questions. My kids' education is very important to me, and right now they are reading below grade level. This is why I'm in this group. I chose Lighthouse because all of my children were going to be able to go to school and to one single school, and because I liked the fact that there was hands-on learning methods, and there's an individual approach to learning at Lighthouse, no matter the learning challenges a student has. Though it has only been my first year at Lighthouse, I was invited to join this institute by Principal Shayna because I'm always in communication with her and involved with Coffee Tuesday. I also see the value in learning the techniques to support my kids academically. And right now, as parents, we are being called to be in partnership with the school. Schools often take the fault, but I know schools cannot do it alone. We as parents must team up with the school and each other, be in constant communication with, sorry, my phone. Be in constant communication with the teacher and other parents because it makes all the difference in our children's academic success. At Lighthouse, the teachers are willing to talk with you, inform you, message you. If assignments are missing, you chose that school for a reason, so see it through. Partner. Call to action. I invite you to come to school, participate in the next Coffee Tuesday by using your voice, sharing your story, and talking with your principal. Building that relationship is a crucial next step for us to make sure LCPS students are on grade level for reading and just for anything, basically.
Thank you, Monica. So beautifully put. Can we all give Monica a woo woo? Let's all come off mute. I'm gonna count to 3 and we're gonna do a whoop whoop for Monica, okay? Because she just totally laid it out there and did such a great model for us. So 1, 2, 3. Woo! Woo! Monica!
Whoa.
Perfect. So we've been given a lot to chew on. And so when we jump into our breakout groups in just a minute, we're going to talk about, do y'all feel like you're ready for action? Why or why not? We're going to have some time to work on our own personal call to actions. What is the ask or invitation that we want to share with other parents and other folks back at our school so we can reach 100% literacy at LCPS schools? Okay. And we'll have some practice time too. So in just a second, you're going to see the invite to join your breakout group. It's going to pop up on your screen, and we're going to get into it. Awesome. We are... Escogen interpretación de nuevo. And I'm going to share screen, and we're going to do our share outs. I totally want to hear if someone else has if someone has a call to action they were able to write during the second breakout group, we would love to hear it. Can we start with the English group? Danilo, Tanisha, Shayna, what parent's gonna share?
Oh man, we forgot to choose someone again. Is there anyone who's willing to share?
Yeah, we're having a really dope conversation, so we kind of messed up on that one. It's but yeah.
That's okay.
I took a little notes again.
Someone share what y'all talked about.
So I know I'm trying to, okay. So I know something I shared right away is as we were talking about different things, I shared with Shayna that we used to have a Lighthouse in Low Star guest readers where parents, siblings would come there, you know, and read. And it was something that made our children so proudful when they would see their siblings, our parents, our aunties, our uncles, grandparents come in there and read. And we're also talking about, you know, everybody's ready to be out there with actions. We're like ready because our babies need it. Something else that a parent shared with I hope I don't pronounce your name incorrectly, Jarena.
Yeah.
We shared was questions of dyslexia for our children. She expressed she didn't know how to help her child and the frustration of that. And as she was sharing her story, it reminded me of my fifth grader who has the same struggle, and also our children having high anxieties because of the stress of reading. And something we had to share with her, she was thinking she wasn't doing the right things, but she's actually doing all the right things. You know, even allowed her children to have break is something, and it touched me really badly because my child does have very high anxiety. We go to therapy, we do all these different things, and she just certain things with our children when they have that struggle, they think about what everybody is thinking, like the teacher, the classmates, the parents. So it can be a lot of stress. And just we were sharing like if possibly our schools, because our schools have took those tests for dyslexia, but now we need resources and tools to show us as parents what should we look for? What does dyslexia look like? Because even as a parent myself, I watch my children. In my fifth grade, I think she has a form of it as well because of how she perceives things. But once again, as parents, we don't know the tools to help them with that and what it looks like. And, you know, to release that stress for them so they can feel confident when they read it and know that no matter the speed, that the way that they learn and their ability to learn it's okay.
Thank you, Tanisha. Awesome. It does sound like y'all have very, very rich conversations and really related to one another, which is totally why we try to do those breakouts. We can really have those deeper conversations and help each other out, right? Share resources, share thoughts. Thank you. Thank you so much for that share out. Angela, can I call on you to share what you wrote a little bit for your call to action?
Give us,
En la de, ¿cuál dice? En la de,
which one?
Su llamada a la acción. Sí tiene.
Sí,
Sí tiene.
sí, la escribí también. Yo pienso que llamada a la acción es como, en primer lugar, tener tiempo, porque si no, no agarramos tiempo, no, ¿cuándo vamos a hacer como la llamada a la acción? La llamada a la acción es como para involucrarlos más, estar más pendiente con el maestro, con el supervisor, con el principal, pues, ayudarles a ser voluntario, como pues tener un poquito más, como dicen, de chispa de acción. Y pues tenemos que empezar a agarrar un poquito de tiempo, a pensar en los niños, que es bien para ellos, pues empezando así para poder llegar como Mónica, imagínense qué bonito.
Thank you, Angela. Yes, Monica, a lot of folks really resonated with your call to action. So really awesome job. And thank you, Angela, for sharing. Great. Well, this part's always a little hard because when we reach the end of the fourth session, which is usually how long our institutes are, it's bittersweet, right? We know the work is only just beginning, but this is our last Zoom session together. I want to first just take a couple minutes to just say how much of a privilege and honor it has been to hear everyone's story on this call. I know we only are just now starting our work together, and I want to hear more and learn and be, you know, in touch with each of you, right, parents? And just hear what your experience has been, what you really got out of this experience, and what you hope to achieve in the future as we really get back to our sites, right? Start working as a team at each of our sites, our Lodestar and Lighthouse parent teams, and how we can really help support, you know, the site goals and really reaching our literacy goals. So if you haven't already given yourself a pat on the back for staying on these late nights and being vulnerable, right? Learning all types of new content and really just throwing yourself in there. Give yourself a pat on the back. I also want to give you a pat on the back. Your dedication does not go unnoticed, and I know your principals and your family coordinators are so excited to work with you. I don't know if any of the four of you want to come off mute and say anything before we wrap up here.
Yeah, I'll just say again, thank you all so much. It's been great having, you know, this group come together and share ideas, share concerns. And I really look forward to the continued partnership and to see, you know, what changes we can make at Lighthouse to better meet you and your kids' needs. So thank you all.
Thank you, Sheena. Great. Well, like Shayna said, right? She's excited for the partnership. This is really where our partnership can really blossom. Okay. And so we have something super exciting to share with you, that we're going to be doing a session 5 at each of the sites coming up on December 5th. So it's Lighthouse parents will be meeting at Lighthouse, Lodestar parents will be meeting at Lodestar, December 5th from 1 to 3 o'clock. So mark your calendars. Shayna, I don't know if you want to say a little more. I know we talked a little bit about how you want that to look.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Absolutely. I am really excited for this because this time, although it's, you know, in the middle of the day, so I know it may be hard for some folks, it's really going to be a great opportunity to get you inside classrooms to see what literacy instruction looks like. So we're going to, you know, first of all, be able to just be together, which is a whole different feel, being together in person, but we'll be doing some walkthroughs of classes, you know, all the way from kindergarten to 5th grade to see what kids are working on, to see, you know, how teachers are instructing them, and to reflect on that and really decide next steps. Yeah, to make sure that this doesn't end.
You say December 5th, what time?
At 1 o'clock. 1
One-
o'clock to 3 o'clock.
1 to 3, okay. I got it, December 5th, 1 to 3 p.m.
Paz is marking her calendar. She is ready. Thank you for sharing, Shayna. I think
Thank you.
Cody already hopped off. Let's see.
Would you
But
be
say,
sending reminders?
what'd you say? Sorry.
Would you be sending reminders about this date?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Definitely. Of course, we want all of y'all to attend. So we're definitely going to be in communication about location, anything else that you might need. You probably should bring your binder with you to that session. We'll probably have a little bit more materials too to pass out at the time too. But like Shayna said, it's a great time for us to get into the classrooms. I've done some classroom walkthroughs with other parents that did the same training that you guys have just done. And they so super enjoyed it. And it gave them a whole new perspective about just, you know, how much the kids learn in such a short period of time, and how they're challenged, and you know, it just kind of it'll bring to life a lot of what Shannon and Cody have taught us over these last 4 sessions. All right. Do folks have any questions? I know Danilo did put the link so you guys can fill out the evaluation for today's session. He put that link in the chat. So if you could click it and fill it out, it just helps us be better, helps us make sure, you know, we're hitting all the things that you want to actually be learning about in a space like this. And it helps us gauge anything that we might want to stamp, especially when we meet in person for session 5 as well. Anyone else we got 3 minutes if folks want to just say any thank you, say any not goodbyes, but see you later. Any reflections? I totally just want to open the floor. This is y'all space.
I'm just gonna say thank you to the Lodestar parents that say to be here, and Lighthouse parents, of course, Monica.
Thank you, Nabarina. I see some hearts. Folks are feeling that. Awesome. Yes, Monica does rock, Dr. Dickey. You are absolutely right. All of you guys rock. And we're so excited to be in partnership with you. So we're going to put the evaluation one more time. Chat, if folks haven't been able to click into it.
What are
So
your
please fill it out. And we're going to see everybody on December 5th. We should do a big woo woo for ourselves. We've been putting in time. We've been putting in work, right? Racking our brains. So I'm going to count us down. Our one last Zoom woo woo, and then we'll be able to woo woo in person. It'll be much louder, much cooler. Okay. So I'm going to count us to 3. 1, 2, 3.
Woo, woo.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining.
Have a great night.
Have a good night.
Have a good
We're gonna
break.
see you soon. Yes. Yes. Have a good turkey holiday.
Bye a
Good
todas.
night.